So you mentioned Jim Krueger. How did you come to work with him?
Man, this is the most random story. So first of all, I just believe tell everybody what you're up to. Like no matter what, no matter how crazy you sound, no matter how big your dream, just start telling people, which is where a lot of people don't because they're embarrassed. They don't think that they have the credibility or whatever. So I was just like, hey, I'm telling everybody what I'm up to. Yes, I've never done a comic before in my life, but I'm shouting it from the rooftops. In fact, what I tell people is I'm building the next Disney, which really erodes my credibility with people because they think I'm out of my mind. But I just started telling everybody that, and I met this guy, and he was like, oh, how can I help you? And I was like, well, if you know anybody in comic books, man, I really need some help. And he was like, oh, actually, I do. I know this guy. He was a former creative director at Marvel, great writer. You should meet him, Jim Krueger. Met him for coffee, dude. We hit it off immediately. Jim is literally a fountain of ideas. If I could, did you watch Heroes?
Yeah.
You remember how Peter Petrelli could absorb people's powers?
Absorb.
Oh, I so want to absorb his powers. Like they're extraordinary. Just a deeply creative mind. And so we were having a lot of fun. I gave him the spiel about what we were trying to build, emotional safety, proximity, bringing people together, actually, working together, telling extraordinary stories that are true to the medium and all that. And he was like, dude, I'm in. So once he was on, then it was like, all right, now we can build this world out because he has so many connections. And so he put us in touch with the people that ended up becoming the artists. And then the colorist, man, the colorist was a find. We do portfolio reviews for anybody out there, and we were doing them at San Diego Comic-Con. And we just had this guy, concept artist, come by. His portfolio was mind-blowing, and made him an offer on the spot.
Wow.
Just, man, portfolio reviews work. Do them. Take the feedback. Improve. But yeah, he was amazing. So it's a totally different approach to coloring than the typical comic book coloring because he comes from a concept art background and hadn't colored a comic before. It was just a totally fresh take that I'm super stoked on. But anyway, that was a tangent off of Jim. But Jim ended up being that key that just unlocked everything for us.
That's amazing that he was able to kind of pull the pieces together and say, this is what you need. This is who you should work with, and kind of bring the whole team together.
Yeah, and he was the genius that said you need two writers, or two artists. And I was like, why do we need two artists, man? That's super weird. And he was like, you're gonna struggle with deadlines no matter what you think. And I was just like, oh man, I feel like we can get this done. Like he was like, Tom, you have got to trust me. I have so many years experience. He's like, you're going to struggle with deadlines. And so I was like, all right, I trust you. So in the book, it's structured. There's the real world and the virtual world. And instead of having one person draw them both, since it's such a natural break, one person draws the real world and then the other person draws the digital world. And thank God. So thank you, Jim.
Yeah, and it looks incredible because it's such a natural, your eye kind of, it looks like a whole different place. You can really tell the VR, the beauty behind it. Like there's a sense of, that sense of beauty in life. I feel like that comes to life in a really interesting way in the VR world, and in the real world, you definitely have a much more grittier kind of sense of like down to earth kind of mentality, like kind of like almost apocalyptic or post-apocalyptic because of the state of the world. So it's amazing.
Cool, man. Thank you.